Hello and welcome to Technical Utkranti. We are done with a heap section and now today with this video we'll be beginning with stacks and queues. In this video we'll be introducing what is a stack. We'll see the real life example of stack, where exactly stack data structure is used while building computer applications. So let's get started. Let's have a look at the thought for the day. So as you can see in our data structures and algorithm series, we are currently into stack and queue. So this is the first video for this section, and let's look at the real life examples of stack. We'll not be talking about queue today, just the stack. So stack, as you can see, I have given the example of the bangles. Now when somebody wears bangles, they keep on putting one bangle after the other, okay, and what is the first bangle that comes out of the hand? So when after coming from the party, when the women decides to take off her bangles, which is the first bangle that will come out from her hand? It will be the last bangle that she had put on her hand. That will be the first bangle that will come out. So this is the example of stack. Last in, first out. The last one that goes in is the first one that will come out. Similarly, if you look at the pile of shirts here, the orange shirt here is the last one to go in. So the first one to come out also would be the orange shirt. So these are the examples of last in, first out, and these are the examples of stack. Now where stack is used in the computer applications. So one such example is this back feature in any browser. So in any browser we can first go to youtube.com, then on the same browser tab we can go to IRCTC to book our tickets, and then after booking our tickets we can go to the income tax website. Now let's say we decide that I need to go to the last website that I had opened onto this tab. So I can just click this back icon and I can visit the last website, right? Then again I can click on the back icon and I can go to the youtube.com. So as you can see, I am observing this last in, first out. This was the last, basically this was the last website that I visited. So when I click on this goes out, and this IRCTC website is the one that we see on the browser tab, right? So this is one such example. What are the different operations that we can do with stack? For example, pushing an element into the stack, popping the element from the stack, peeking into the stack, and whether or not stack is empty. So let's go to the Python code and let's create stack. So we'll be creating complete stack class here, and in it we will be creating different methods that will perform different functions. So I will create a class called stack and I will initialize. Alright, so my stack object will have a list that will be empty to begin with, and I'll also create one variable that will indicate the length of the stack, which will be 0 to begin with. Alright, for those who do not know what init function is, so this is a magic function, which means that this function is not explicitly called but is automatically executed when we create the object of class called stack, right? So when, for example, I create stack object like this, so when this particular instruction is executed, it automatically means that this particular function is getting executed, okay? So these are called magic functions. These are not explicitly called, but they are triggered on a certain condition. For example, when I am calling this class, it means that the user wants to create an object of this class, and in order to create the object of the class, the instructions are in the init function. So I hope this is clear. I will create one more magic function called str. So this is basically to print the stack. We know that in stack the elements will be printed in reverse order, right? For example, if I insert 1, 2, 3, then I want to print 3 first, then 2, and then 1, like that. So what I will do is I will reverse the stack and once I have reversed it, I'll convert each element into a list. So I'll do it like this for x in values, and finally what I will do is all the elements of the value list will be joined using a \n, which means I'm creating a string where each element of the list called values is joined by a new line element. Alright, so each element would be printed on one line basically, right? Okay, so this was for printing, this was for creation of stack. Okay, so I have created the stack. Now I will write a function to push the element to the stack. So for this I need a number that user wants to push to the stack. So that would be simple. I will just go to the list and append this. Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's push some numbers to the stack. So as soon as print operation is executed on stack object, which is the object of class stack, this function will be triggered. And what is self here? So in all the functions you can see there is self as an argument, right? So self is nothing but the object. This whatever comes before dot is basically self in the function. Okay, so this function will get executed. So let's print and let's see what we get. So as you can see, I inserted the elements in the order of 1, 2, 3 and I print as 3, 2, 1. So I am successful in creating the stack, I am successful in printing the stack, and I am also successful in pushing elements to the stack. Now how about peeking to the stack? Peek, def, peek. So what peek does is it just returns the element that is at the top of the stack basically, right? So okay, so before writing peek function I need to ensure whether or not the stack is empty, right? So I'll create one function called isEmpty, and I will see that if I'll say self dot length is equal to 0, then return true. True meaning what our function is saying, it is empty. Yes, if the length is 0 it is empty, so it will return true, otherwise it will return false, right? So you might be thinking, why haven't I written it in if else mode? So basically if the stack is empty, true will be executed. As soon as return is encountered, the function execution doesn't go forward, right? So it will stop here. If this is not true, then it will come here. So it is same like if else, just one instruction less, right? Okay, so I have written this function. Now I'll write peek function. So I will say if self dot is empty, so I will return nothing, return none. Otherwise what we will return? Return self dot list self dot length -1. This will basically return the last element. So peek just returns the last element without deleting it. Alright, so I will print stack dot obj peek. Okay, so let's see what my stack prints. So it will print 3 to 1 before this, and it prints none. Why does it print none? Is the stack empty? Yes, it is. So stack is not empty, yet I am getting stack as empty. Why? Because during push I am not incrementing the length. Self dot length plus equal to 1. Okay, so as you have seen, I have this length variable also associated with the stack object, right? So each time when I am pushing the element to the stack, I should be incrementing the length. Okay, so this was one mistake that I was doing. That's why it returned like this. So now it is working fine. Peek is working fine. All right. Okay. Now I'll write pop function. So pop function will be similar to peek function, just that it will also delete the last element. So again I'll write the same thing. If self dot is empty, return none. Otherwise last element would be this same thing. We need to delete the last element also, and we need to decrement the length, and we can return the last element. Alright, so just like in push we are incrementing the length, in pop we are decrementing the length. Okay, so pop should also print 3, but after that when I'll print stack, it will print only 1 and 2 because the last element is deleted. So what I'll do is stack has the following elements: peeking on stack gives the following result, popping on stack gives the following result, and printing stack after popping. Right, so let's see what we've got. So stack has the following elements 3 to 1. Peeking on stack gives the following result, which is 3, which was the topmost element of the stack. Popping also gives me 3, but it deletes also. So printing stack after popping gives me 2 elements because the last element is deleted. Okay, so I hope you understood the main functionalities of stack and how to create class and all that. One more thing that you can see is as soon as I write the stack object and do a dot, you can see that methods come with a cube symbol before it, right? IsEmpty is a method, peek is a method, pop push is a method, whereas member variables comes like this. Okay, So the symbol for member variables is like this, and member function is like this. Okay, just as when we analyze complicated code, and we write object, we put dot in front of it, and we see this kind of pop up when we work in advanced UI like advanced IDE like Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. So it is just an additional information that could come in handy, right? So I hope you understood it. If you did, please hit a like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.